Hey everyone, Amos Bilo here from Coaching by Bilo, Health and Life Coach. I actually have the pleasure of introducing you to someone I've had the pleasure of working with, Miss Denae, and it's been Mrs. Denae. It's been so amazing working with her. She's a wonderful person, and I want to let you know who she is, what she does, and why she's passionate about it. Get a little background on why we ended up together and what came out of it as well. So Denae, go ahead, just give me some background on your story and what you like to do and what you're passionate about.
Sure. So my name is Denae Matherly, and I am a speaker, and I speak in Sioux Falls and all around, actually nationally as well. I speak at women's events, and I teach women how to dress based on their shape and their coloring, and it's obviously about so much more than that. Clothing is the vehicle, but it's really about teaching confidence and teaching women that they're made to be beautiful, and it's good to be beautiful, and that it's not vanity, that God has created them to be beautiful and to embrace it. And there's so much confidence that comes from knowing that it's okay to care about that. And that's kind of my background. I have 4 boys, and I raised them here in Sioux Falls along with my husband. We've been here for 16 years now, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, love the mission, love the story, and what you do and what you're passionate about. So, what kind of connected us? What made you decide to book in with me?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. So I met Amos at 9 Round at the gym where he was a trainer, and I always had loved his positive outlook on life. And one of the first things, I remember a lot of things, but something that really struck me is the day when you asked how I was, and I said I was good. And you said, okay, what other adjective can you think of besides good? Because there's a bunch of them. And that kind of got me thinking about how we do a lot of life just routine, because that's what we do and that's what we're used to. And then I think it was probably 2 days later you had a sign up there with all different kinds of adjectives that we could use instead of good. And so I think that was the very first thing that I really remember, that I was like, well, this guy is just a really positive guy. And from there, my business partner who speaks with me, her name is Nancy Iverson, we had kind of got to talking about what we do and how our mission aligned with Amos. And there was actually another coach at the gym who one day said, have you thought of working with Amos? And we're like, well, not really. But as we talked about it, we kind of met with you and decided that the way that you see life and the confidence that you bring and the passion you have for bringing joy to people's life was really in line with our mission. And that was what made us sign up with you and start doing coaching classes, even though we weren't really sure what we were getting into, to be honest. We just thought, this seems like something that aligns with us.
Sure, okay, so you had that positivity, but you were thinking, I could have a little bit more of it, or get a different outlook, be around someone else that's perceiving that or acting that way.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what I would say, just to enforce what our belief system already was. And I think we were looking forward to getting some tools to help with feeling positive and uplifted and encouraged even on the days when it's hard.
Sure.
So probably, like I was saying, I don't think we knew exactly what we were getting into, but realizing that you had some of those tools that could benefit us that we would like to learn.
Yeah, awesome. So do you feel like there were any challenges that were coming up, or specifically speak to any challenges that came up or were happening before you started working with me?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I'm a person that has been struggling with anxiety for most of my life. I didn't realize what it was, I don't think, until I was in my mid-20s, when I finally realized there's a name for this feeling that I'm feeling. So I went into it, I think, with just a positive expectation of gaining some new tools to help with anxiety and to help realize, and I think it was something that you said to me at the beginning, that you said, what if anxiety doesn't have to be who you are? It just becomes a side note. And to me that seemed really encouraging, and I thought that definitely seems like something I would like to work through and get to that point. And I've been on a journey with it. I've been on medication, and I've tried so many natural remedies or cures or what have you, but I am always looking to add tools to my toolbox, because it is a big part of my story, and it's getting less and less. But I think that is something that I really looked forward to. It's like, okay, what new tools can I have to work with this part of me that doesn't have to be the whole, it doesn't have to consume me.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how did that anxiety show up specifically in different areas of your life? throughout this journey?
Yeah, right. No, that's a really good question. So before I knew what it was, it definitely showed up as racing hard and just feeling out of control and feeling that I didn't have enough to contribute to the world, or that raising my boys, that how could I possibly raise these 4 boys? Everything felt overwhelming. Everything felt like it was too much for me to handle. And I didn't know it, I don't think, but I didn't realize, like, it's very cyclical. It kind of changes with the seasons, and sometimes I just thought, well, I'm just going to have to learn to deal with it like this. I'm going to have to learn to deal with having a racing heart and always feeling inadequate in whatever situation there is. And so I think that I really felt trapped, and it would show up, different times. When it got really severe, it would be panic attacks. And I didn't always know when they were coming, but I could tell that they would be induced by stress. It would be induced by, having multiple deadlines at one time, or feeling under pressure of, like, I felt like everybody was counting on me to do something and I didn't think I could accomplish it, and that would incite a panic attack. Mm-hmm. So it, just in different ways, it was just kind of woven throughout all of my story. And it wasn't until I had my second son that I really thought, I don't think that this is the way everyday life is supposed to be. So I do feel like since then, it has really just been a journey. And so coaching with you has been another step in the journey that helps me separate from that identity. Like, here's who I am. I am anxiety, to stepping over here to say, oh, I'm a person who occasionally deals with anxiety, and now I have tools to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Not realizing that maybe this isn't how I need to feel every single day or go through my life. You mentioned a little bit of different things that you've tried, medications or natural ways of dealing with it. How well did those work, or what didn't work?
Oh, thanks. That's a good question too. So medication was horrible for me, and at the time I thought that was my only answer, because if you're sick, you take medicine, kind of thing. It was really bad. I had a lot of auras, and I had a lot of, so it took the anxiety away, but I felt like it also took away everything else, and I just operated right here all the time, which is not me. That's not my nature. And so when I went off of that, that was awful, because I had withdrawals, and I'd never had experienced anything like that, and I really don't care to ever again. So there was that, and I went to different doctors who have helped me in different ways, different naturopaths and regular doctors that have given me tools and have given me different things, which I do think everything is just kind of a building block, and everything is a journey to learn more about yourself and more about, like, okay, why did I respond this way? And I think that's where we come into coaching with you. So I'm getting to this point where I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to be this way every day. This is great. It's not always this way. And then we kind of took that a step further through coaching, just like, well, what are the situations that make you respond this way? What has caused you to feel this way? And that's kind of opened up this new door for me to realize that a lot of the situations, a lot of the things that I'm feeling, I don't have to be controlled by them. And I can also know preemptively, like, okay, I'm going into the situation that historically has caused a huge rise in anxiety, but God has got me through it before. That means He's going to get me through it this time as well. So really talking through some of those things in our sessions, I think was good for me to just remember and realize it doesn't have to, even if it's a stressful situation, I don't have to enter it expecting a panic attack or expecting anxiety. And that's a really big mind shift, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And I guess, what was your initial thought about any type of coaching before you met with me?
Well, I think it was very unknown to me, and not necessarily unfamiliar, but any time I'd heard of the term wellness coach, I feel like it was associated with a product or just, I'm not sure exactly. I honestly don't know what my expectations were, except that I was not in a position of life where I could buy a product regularly and sustain that, and I think I felt like that was the only way that I would access a wellness coach, was by being on somebody's team for a product.
Sure.
So even once we started, I have to honestly say I still don't think I knew what to expect exactly, because I just thought, well, wellness coach, like, are we going to be working on exercise or, I just knew that you were very excited about it, and which I think is great because that's what spreads. That's what the enthusiasm spreads. Mm-hmm. And definitely throughout the sessions, I could see where your heart was and what your passion was and how it is about the whole of somebody's life and not just one particular area. And I think that's what I really appreciated. And I really appreciated that it wasn't like, well, you have to have these 7 products in order to be healthy, which, you know, we didn't work with products at all. It was just decisions. Like, why do we make these decisions? And I think I saw it in your post. Sometimes just talking out loud about it to somebody and then to say the words out loud, and it kind of gives you this sense of like, oh, so that's what's been going on in my brain, and sorting it out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for describing that. And is there anything else to the experience of it that stood out to you, or that you wanted to mention?
Oh, right. I feel like Amos was really great about helping us through what we needed to talk about each week, even if it wasn't necessarily on the plan. I mean, I remember one specific week where both Nancy and I were just really, I don't know if confused is the right word, but maybe disheartened about breakfast and our meal choices. And so you went off book and really just walked us through that. And we both came away with some great benefits from that. Just a way that we switched up our breakfast that both of us have switched up and used. And talking about meal prep and how it doesn't have to be this scary, intimidating thing. And you shared a lot of what you do personally. And that was good for us too. And so, you know, like whatever you might have in your mind about coaching, I don't know, I just can speak for me. I didn't know what to expect, but it was definitely different than what I expected. And Amos did a great job of just walking us through different things as they came up in life. It wasn't, you did really good with having things and directions that we needed to go, but if there was something that came up, it flowed with it, and then you did a good job of making it fit into what we were talking about for the week, and I really appreciated that as well. So, and it was a good, really good for accountability. If we're meeting every single week and there's little things that you have to do, or even just thoughts that you have to think through, it was really helpful in knowing, well, I'm going to see him in a week, I should get this done, instead of just putting it off, because, you know, as humans, that's what we do a lot. We just put it off because it's not the top of the priority. But it really makes you realize that taking care of you, it is really high priority, because you can't take care of the people around you unless you take care of you. So you provided that accountability too, which was huge. So
thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying all those kind words. And how do you feel right now after the program? So just speaking specifically about you, how do you feel now?
Yeah, I feel like okay, I wasn't prepared for this one completely. That I feel like I really have learned some really great new tools to put in my toolbox. I feel like I have strategies to go into things and have shifted from the mindset of this stuff is just going to happen to me, there's nothing I can do about it, to the mindset of, okay, even though life happens, and it's going to, and it's not always going to be perfect, that there's new ways of dealing with it. It doesn't have to be status quo. It doesn't have to be the way that I have dealt with it for 38 years, that I can take new things that I've learned from our time with you, and I can put it into practice. And I feel like so many tools that you gave us were immediate practice. Like, we could start immediately. I could start it right away and say, like, okay, here's the thing. There are going to be days when it's tough. There are going to be days when my basement floods and I wasn't planning on it. Or there are going to be days when I get called into the principal's office at school for this or that. And instead of that overtaking my life, to be able to take a few minutes and say, it's going to be okay. I can handle this. I'm going to practice my breathing. There's just a new level of freedom that comes with that, a new level of confidence that's like, well, I'm going to make it through. Whatever it is, I'll get through to the other side.
Awesome. So you definitely rounded it out there at the end. You have all these new tools and strategies, and you're able to apply them right away.
Yeah.
And then how does those things make you feel? Right at the end, you said it. Freedom, confidence, and ready to handle anything that comes along.
Right. And just that knowing that it's not going to be perfect. So expecting things to be perfect and then being disappointed when they're not, that's going to lead to frustration. But accepting that they're not perfect and having the tools to say, but I'm literally going to make the best of it, that's really what can change the whole mindset.
Yeah, Beautiful. And when you think about your life right now, going forward, what are you most looking forward to? I know life is a long time, but...
Oh, no, there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to, and a lot of things that I look forward to just trying with our business and going on to bigger speaking engagements, and even just as I get into raising teenagers, really being able to know that it's going to be okay, because we'll make it through whatever comes up. And that shift of, okay, I don't have to raise them perfectly, I don't have to market perfectly, I don't have to, have every single thing in its perfect place in order for it to work, but just that knowledge that it's going to proceed, and it's going to be not only okay, it's going to be great. There's going to be many great moments in that. So it makes me excited. It makes me, I look forward to it. I look forward to what's in store, what could be next, what's around the corner, and that's just an exciting way to live.
Oh, I love that word, excited. Just excited about life, excited about trying things, excited about bringing more information in and doing more, influencing more people. I love that. So if you were to speak to someone that was in your shoes, like your specific situation or in their specific situation, everyone's different, what kind of encouragement or thoughts would you tell them about them holding back on dealing with their problems or frustrations? What encouragement would you give them, or advice?
Yeah, I would say the sooner you can deal with it, the better. And it doesn't seem easy. It's not always easy, and sometimes it's hard to say the first word, and I struggle with it because I can speak from the stage and be eloquent, and yet when I'm trying to describe my emotions or figure out a problem, it takes me a lot of bumbling around to do. And I think that's the beauty of having a coach, is someone who's just going to sit across the table and kind of listen as you get through all this stuff, and then come to those conclusions yourself. So I'm a chronic problem push-awayer. I'm sure that's not right. But I do feel like something I'm learning, and something that God is really teaching me, is that deal with it as it comes up, so that it doesn't sit in there and it doesn't fester, and even if you're not thinking about it, that it may affect areas of your life and decisions that you make. I mean, the hardest part is taking the first step, because after that, the things just happen. So if you can get to the place where you're like, no, I'm going to do it. I even say that when I work out, like, I just need to get to the gym, because if I walk in the gym, I'm not going to turn around and leave. And I feel like it's the same with dealing with your problems. If you can just get to that place where you're like, all right, I have this thing, let's lay it out there. From there on, it's going to become easier. Yeah.
Awesome. And last thing before we close out, what do you think the most important thing is that helped you actually have success and follow through throughout the 8 weeks that we got to work together?
I think that going into it just with an open mind, and even releasing expectations, just as I said earlier, I didn't really know what to expect, or what we were walking into, because it was different. But I think really being open to different experiences, and knowing that every single thing you go through in life, there's something that can be gleaned from it. There's something that can be learned, and that our human brain thrives on learning, and our human brain thrives on growth. And I feel like that was something that you had said a lot, is that you don't just arrive one day. Your whole entire life, as long as you're alive, you have a purpose. As long as you're breathing, there are things to be learned. I mean, our world is huge. And so I think, just coming back to that freedom, that confidence, that trying something new, realizing that maybe not everything's going to be 100% fit, or maybe it will be, but you simply can't know that until you try it. And to have 8 weeks to sit down every single week and have a guided conversation with you, with Nancy was with us, but to talk through that, there's that huge accountability to it. That's like, you know what, I'm going to make it through this time, even if I've started something in the past. I mean, if you're sitting at Hy-Vee waiting for me, I'm not going to drive on by, right? And so there's like that level of accountability that's there. That's like, well, I tried it and I did it, and I'm really glad. So I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that I learned new things. I'm glad that I stretched my mind, and I really recommend it to anybody who is just maybe looking for that next step, that's looking for a little extra help, that realizes like, oh, maybe I am dealing with things and I don't have words for them yet, that this is just a great way to really explore that and get to the other side of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to speaking with you continually for the next 2 years, and then checking back in and seeing where you're at, and the growth of your business and the growth of your personal life and your family. Building these relationships with people I get to work with is one of the best parts for me.
Yeah.
So just continual, like she said, health is a lifelong journey, trying new things, learning new things. And so the more, after we're done with the 8 weeks, we're not done.
Right.
Like, you're not done with your health. And so you get put into a group with other people that I've had the pleasure of working with, and then I can continue to encourage you, support you, and give you accountability in that way, without actually doing the sessions if we don't want to do anymore. But that's awesome for me too, so I love doing it. But thank you for meeting with me, talking to me, and answering these questions.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure on my side as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I want to say that you're just always really accessible, and I appreciate that, and answer our questions, and no matter what they may be, and even if we need to shoot you a quick text or whatever, or like, hey, I tried this thing, it didn't quite turn out like yours. And I've always appreciated that about you, that you are accessible, and that you do really want the best for us, the best for me, even if it's different than what's the best for yourself. So I really appreciate that about you, that it is a concern or a wanting the other person's health in the best way that they know how to do it, and that with the tools that they have through their own filters and their own lenses. And I think that's a good trait too. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.